Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast for a Wednesday, the day before spring. Harvey Freed, March 20th, 2024. Podcast brought to you by CMG Home Loans and MLS number 1820. And with me this morning is none other than the co-host of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning, 97.1 FM, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. in our 24th year of doing the show. And in our 34th year in the mortgage industry, Mr. Harvey Freed. How are you, Harv?
Hey, good morning, Harry, and thank you. I'm going to say it's officially spring. My calendar says spring might have been the 19th or the 20th. Today's officially the 20th. I think it's everybody's birthday that I've ever met because I see a ton of birthday wishes. But there is a lot going on, Harry, and not only in our mortgage world, but of course in the world of real estate.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Becky Alley, John Kolb, Lisa Lawson doing the old school thing today, out meeting with realtors, doing presentations, working on their loans, and attending closings. And that's what we do here. Looks like, Harvey, we're going to have a lively educational podcast today. So let's dive into the following. First of all, tomorrow is officially the first day of spring. You would not notice that by walking your dog at 5:30 in the morning and watching it snow, seeing the 2 inches that are on the ground around here in southeastern Michigan. But hey, it was 73 here last week. So anyway, spring tomorrow officially, Harvey. Yeah, but look outside. But let's dive into the NAR settlement, National Associated of Realtors settlement of $418 million settlement. Why does that seem like a lot of money, Harvey?
Because it is a lot of money.
Only because it is.
Only because it is.
And what does that mean? What does that really mean? I mean, here's what I think it means, Harvey. I'm going to broad brush it. I'm going to keep it simple because it's really easier to understand that way. For a long time, everybody thought, and if you take a look at the lawsuit and want to read it in depth, there are a few realtors, I think they try to price fix commissions. They try to steer people into a commission structure. And the settlement basically was they came to a settlement because they want to end this. They want to end it. And they just paid a lot of money. But what does it mean going forward, Harvey? Realtors have always been able to negotiate their own commission rate. Okay. I don't know why people thought that they were roped into the 5 or 6%. That just seemed to be the industry norm. But Harvey Freed, you could always negotiate what you would pay a realtor, correct?
Yeah, when you're signing your listing contract, that's something that's always been negotiable. In fact, it's really been that way for quite some time on the commercial side of things. So a couple different things about the July 24th up and coming, the settlement lawsuit. It could be appealed still. Likely it won't be. And there's a 3-4 month period here where plenty of the agents out there are going to be able to figure out the new system. And basically here, as you mentioned, this has been around for a long time where you can negotiate your commission. It's not going to be on autopilot anymore. It's more like have it your way at Burger King. It's not going to be you order the Happy Meal or the number 2 meal. You can have it your way, which means the listing agent representing the seller is going to be able to put that contract together and explain and go over all the details, which basically it appears that they're going to be reaching out to sellers and saying, look, when the offers come into us, the buyers are going to have on the offer that we're asking to pay their commission, just like the olden days. And it's going to be sort of in the form of a seller's concession. So again, it's not going to, a couple of things it was set up to do is always help the consumer. Harry, it's not going to help the consumer. It's going to confuse things even more. And as much as we thought the other end of it would be that it potentially could lower sales, the price of the homes and appreciation, that's not going to happen either. That is strictly supply and demand. So I'll send it back to you so we could banter back and forth on it. But that industry standard of 6% might be in question moving forward.
Well, the proposal, and it's a proposed settlement, okay? They were hit hard. There's a proposed settlement. The enforcement's going to be on or before July 1st. It's not there yet, but the proposed settlement includes banning a seller's agent to set compensation for a buyer's agent. That means the lister, okay, cannot set compensation for a buyer's agent. So on a listing ticket, if you saw on a listing ticket, which is put out by the selling agent, the lister, you would see maybe 2.5% or 2% or 3%. banning a seller's agent from doing that. That's number one. Number two, it's going to eliminate all fields displaying broker comp on the MLS. So that's an inside thing. So a broker cannot no longer, if this is approved, put whatever the compensation they want on the MLS, multiple listing service, and the MLS ticket. It's also, number three, going to ban the requirement that agents subscribe to the MLS to offer or accept compensation for their work. So no longer is an agent going to have to be required to subscribe to the MLS to make an offer, accept compensation for their work. Number four, mandating MLS participants working with buyers to enter into a written buyer-broker agreement. They're going to mandate MLS participants working with buyers to enter into a written broker agreement. Lastly, requiring buyer representation agreements for all members. So what does that mean? That if you're a seller if you are a selling agent, a buying agent, a buyer's agent, you have to have a buyer's agency agreement with your client. So a seller's a seller, a buyer's a buyer, unless in the term double dipping comes in. If you're double dipping, you still have to have an agreement. Which, by the way, Harvey, I thought you had to have an agreement anyways.
You do, and many of the agents would take people out on the road initially to get them excited before signing that initial buyer's agency agreement. So that document is going to be honed. There's a lot of honing going on. That document's going to be sealed up. And people are going to say, look, if you work with me, here's the agreement. I'm going to drive you around town at $3 and about 39 cents a gallon. I don't know. I think Costco is about $3.20.
$3.39. Are you kidding me? I've been paying $3.70. But you know.
Okay, yeah. Well, I go to Costco. I go in the long line at Costco. But yes, the buyer's agent agreement is going to really come into play a little bit more. It's all going to be written out. Sellers can and still be willing to pay seller concession or give up some of their profits to pay for that buyer's agent, knowing that that's what's going to drive the price of the house up. That's going to make the house get top dollar. So that's all good stuff. And the buyers can pay out of pocket. So you definitely could do it that way too. So if the buyers have the money and they're said, look, I'll hire you, I'll pay you an X amount of dollars, a flat fee of $5,000. And a lot of buyers agents will go ahead and say, you know what, if that's the price range anyways, they're going to go ahead and accept those and move forward.
Very smart agents have always negotiated their commission. So for example, on the higher end, Harvey, and I just want to throw up this very high end example for illustration purposes only. So let's say you're selling a $4 million house. You don't think that they were paying 6% on that, do you? You don't think any real estate agent you don't think they were splitting $240,000 on a house, do you, Harvey?
No. I watch a lot of that, list and love it. I watch a lot of HGTV, Harry, and Josh Flagg and those people out there in California, they're still getting them. Believe it or not, they are.
Well, let's talk about reality and let's talk about here in Michigan.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about Michigan. Watch a lot of TV. You know, that's great. I don't watch fiction, so I'm not in that category. I am a nonfiction person. I live in reality. You don't believe, please don't believe that you believe and think that somebody's paying a full 6% on a $4 million house, $240,000 in commission. Not happening. They'll cap it. They might cap it at 175. They might cap it at 150. It's a lot of money, brother. It's a lot of money. So I don't believe that. And I do believe, and you could call me 1-800-LOW-RATE, 248-569-7283. Email me at hglanz@lowrateonline.com if you disagree with me. No way are they paying $240,000 a full 6% commission. But that's just me. Okay, you could argue with me. You could debate it with me all you want. I don't believe it. Why?
I don't want to debate it with you. I don't want to debate it, but I'm going to tell you this.
I haven't seen another closing.
There's plenty of transactions in Southeast Michigan now where you're seeing home values have gone up. People are selling their houses at $1 million all around Oakland County. You got Bloomfield Hills, you got Birmingham, you got some Northville, you name it. You got Grosse Ile. There's plenty of homes in Michigan that sell for $1 million plus. Let's go up north.
I didn't say that. My specific example is, and please understand that I'm saying this, and I said I'm making this overly simple for illustration purposes only. I said, I don't believe, I've never seen it. I've done $4 million sales before. I don't ever recall seeing $240,000 paid in commissions on a $4 million house. That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking with it. I'm being Stephen A. Smith on this. I have never seen it, and I've been doing this for 34 years. Never saw $240,000, which would equate to 6% on a $4 million house, and I've done a lot of them. Nobody's done more $4 million houses than me in this office. So there you go. Anyways, let's move on to number two. Well, we're going to be talking about this, the settlement, the $418 million settlement. What does this mean in reality? We're going to be talking about it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show heard this Saturday at 9 to 10. Harvey will be co-hosting. We'll talk about it as we get further down the agenda. Harvey, number two, Federal Reserve meetings this week conclude today. We love talking about this. My bet, Harvey Freed, drum roll please, no change. No change in rate, no change in Fed funds rate, no change in mortgage interest rates, no change. Probably no changes in my opinion, at a minimum till June. They're going to meet in May. We'll see. I think it might go past June, but there's not going to be a change for the foreseeable future, next 60, 90 days, Harvey.
I'm going to agree 100% with that one for sure, Harry. Fed's meeting, wrapping up their meeting today. They'll come out with whatever information a little bit later in the day today. And Mortgage News Daily is already reporting today. Mortgage rates have ticked up a little bit. Of course, when the mortgage rates tip up a little bit, applications go down a little bit also. As we're heading into spring, we just hope, and again, I just hope things stay vibrant here in Southeast Michigan. I hope we're able to continue to add to the inventory situation that's really been the 2-3 year problem. And it looks to be a problem for the next 2 years also. So we're just hoping better news on the inventory. Obviously, we want to see families continue to sell their homes and move forward and keep buying those homes. We like loaning money out. We like selling mortgages.
I'm going to tell you, Harvey, I agree with you. I agree that people need places to live, and I want to talk about that. But in the meantime, as of right this second, right, still no substantial amount of inventory pickup. We know that. Still multiple bids and way over asking price. That's happening as we speak. Still frustrated shoppers making their 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th offers. Happening. That's the reality.
Right.
And still rates are in the 7s. But here's the however to all that, Harvey. The however is that offers are being accepted. Don't quit. I just had a young couple over the weekend. They're first-time home buyers. Harvey, they just got married in the fall. On their 7th try, 7th offer, 7th, it finally got accepted. And it's the house they wanted. They couldn't be happier.
That's the best.
Did they have to overpay, Harvey?
Probably a little bit.
They've overpaid. Did they pay over listing? Yes, they did. Is the house, and we've already put people on notice, Harvey, is the house going to appraise? Maybe, maybe not. But everybody in the transaction knows this is what's going on. You've got to be able to get into the house. Don't worry about what the rate is. Just get into the house, because if everything that we think is going to happen in 2025, rates can come down a little bit. You can refinance that property that you bought and we'll get you a lower rate and save you money. So listen, the moral of the story, Harvey Freed, is don't quit. If you quit, you're going to be standing in line behind others that didn't quit, and you're going to be further behind the 8 ball. People, Harvey Freed, still need a place to live.
Yeah, no doubt. Rents continue to go up. The investors are out there, and they're coming from all over because they see that Michigan and Southeast Michigan, a very attractive area for many reasons. Great schools, 4 seasons. The cost of living is pretty low here. Plenty of job opportunities across Southeast Michigan. So yeah, you need a place to live. Rents continue to go up, and we know the investors are, they'll buy the house and they'll rent it to you if you don't want to purchase it. So definitely stick with your plan and keep educating yourself. Sort of combining a little bit of the settlement information, just real estate talk. The agents out there have to return phone calls. They're going to have to negotiate. They're going to have to be on their A game. Maybe the top agents will rise like they always do, and the other agents will fizzle out. It's an entry-level job. Getting into real estate is pretty easy, but being successful is not. Being successful and being on this and getting it all done the right way and building your clientele base, it's a lot of work. Like you said, Harry, Capital Mortgage at it for over 34 years. So it's a great place to get your mortgage. I've been at it for just over 30 years, over 31 years now. And 9 out of 10 sellers, this is one thing that sort of affects that. 9 out of 10 sellers I talk to, they sort of think that it's a standard thing. You buy the Big Mac and you can't make deviations from it. I'm using this burger analogy. Have it your way at Burger King. But there's no doubt you can negotiate these things. Understand what cost you're paying as a seller. And again, you can say to your agent, hey, if you're able to get me X amount of dollars, I'm willing to pay this much in commission. So let's drive the price of the home up. Harry, you always said this to me. Would you lay out $10,000, to get $20,000? The answer is always yes. And again, in smaller denominations, would you lay out an extra $5,000 to get $10,000 for the house? If you're netting an extra $7,000, that's a win for any seller. And again, this National Association of Realtors settlement, it's scary at first, but it'll shake out and it's going to just level the playing field where people understand how the commissions work. And sort of one of the people explaining it to me, they use decoupling. It's sort of like separating the commission on the buy side and the sell side. So that's really what's going on.
I agree with that, Harvey, and that's a great way to put it. There's going to be separate documents, which, by the way, if you hired a straight up, strictly buyer's agent, you had to sign a buyer's agency agreement anyways. Now what they're going to do is they're going to put in what the commission structure is going to be. Mm-hmm. It's I like it because everything has to be disclosed up front. I'm going to tell you what really, really is a pet peeve of mine is that, and I don't know if you've seen this, I'm going to draw an analogy to this, payday loans, okay? Payday loans, pawn shops, places like that, nothing wrong with them, but they're maxed out, Harvey, at a 36%. Do you hear what I said?
That's
36% interest rate. Okay, here we are in the sevens and people are yelling and screaming. Yeah. I don't understand. But they don't yell and scream about 18 to 22% credit cards. They don't yell and scream when gas is at over $3.50 a gallon. Nobody complained. It went from $1.75 to $2. Everybody bitched and complained. Now it's at $3.50 and nobody's complaining. I don't get this. The understanding. So now here we are. I just don't understand it. People complain about the wrong things. They stand in line for the wrong things. All right. They stand in line at Costco to get $3.20 gas. Down the road is $3.50. Right? That's 30 cents more. Wait, that's 30 cents more, right?
It adds up.
You're waiting in an hour line.
Not that bad.
For 30 cents a gallon. And let's say it's 15. Let's just say it's 15 gallons, right? That's $4.50 for waiting in line. My time is worth more. Stop it. You could make more money in the time that you wasted waiting in line. People are nickel wise and dollar foolish. They just don't get it. And we try to educate people on saving them money. Okay? So we're going to save you money. Listen, don't be nickel wise and lose that house. All right?
Right. Oh, that I like. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you're going to lose the house when you could have a house, but you're going to wait another 6 months to a year and pay more for it. Okay. When you could be in it now, pay less for it. And then we're going to refinance you when rates come down and save you even more money.
We've been blowing that horn. Yeah. We've been blowing that horn for now 2.5 years. That prices were high 2 years ago. And they're not high today. They're in line with supply and demand.
Correct. And by the way, you're paying rent. How much of that rent is going right out the window? All of it, 100%. Right. So please, we have to really think. And that's why if you got to be hit on the head with education, with information, with math, with the numbers, with your budget, because we always want people to be able to afford it, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're all about, Harvey. I want to wrap it up, Harv, by just saying one of the greatest joys in life I have is serving clients and letting them save money. I want them to save money. Everybody thinks, oh, you're a lender. You want higher interest rates. No, our phone number is 1-800-LOW-RATE, not 1-800-HIGH-RATE. We want lower rates. So we actually make what, so Harry, what's your motivation? Harvey, what's your motivation? My motivation is to do as many loans as we can, because the more loans we do at lower rates and save people money, the more money we make. You don't do more loans at higher rates, you do more loans at lower rates. So we're on your side. So Harvey, I'm going to give you the last words. I'm really fired up today, but we got Roberto Beauchesne. He's our producer director. He's in the booth. He's getting ready to wrap this up. Harvey Freed, what are your last words of the day?
Well, I don't want to go too long here. I see our friend out there, Barry Habib. He's been advertising now on lead generation. So there were a lot of people out there predicting last year that rates were going to come down, and then he's back on there saying, well, look for it at the end of the summer. Whatever the rates do, go up, go down, or stay the same. Home ownership is something that's a little bit different than buying that luxury car. This is a roof over your head, a place for your family to raise your family. One of the things I talk about all the time is your new friends. Most families, when they're buying their first home or second home, they end up meeting their best friends. Their neighbors become their new best friends in most great situations. And you can't put a price tag on that. Home values will continue to go up. So get out there and see if you can ink up a transaction and have it all set up. So this spring and summer of 2024, if and when the rates come down, you'll be able to refinance. Also here, we have a full house coming up on our radio show. Of course, the Hardcore Mortgage Show, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on 97.1 The Ticket. Our regular staff, Becky's going to be in also with Lisa Lawson, myself, and you, Harry. We're bringing Hope Williams and Brian Williams, her husband. They're a combo team out of Keller Williams Novi. And hopefully they'll bring some great insight to what's going on the inventory over the last month or so, what they see happening here in Southeast Michigan. Their farm area is in a real good area because they go a little bit west and there's a little bit more inventory opening up, and they can always come a little bit east where it's extremely competitive. So we're looking forward to see what they have to say Saturday morning.
I love it, Harvey. Looking forward to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 97.1. My last words of the day is, first of all, Harvey, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Went very quickly. Always a lot to say. Appreciate that. Appreciate Roberto Beauchesne in the booth directing and producing this podcast, as well as he does the radio show. We post it Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We're all over. He does a great job with that. Also, want to let you know, first day of spring tomorrow, but if you're not in the market to buy a house right now, you better get going. And by the way, you better be pre-approved. We have so many approval letters out there right now.
Yeah.
Just waiting for our buyers to go ahead and find that house that they're going to settle into. It's a very busy pre-spring right now. One more day, spring will sprung here in Michigan officially tomorrow with 2 inches on the ground. So for Harvey Freed, Becky Alley, Lisa Lawson, John Kolb, the rest of our crew here at Capital Mortgage Funding, we appreciate all of you, and we'll see you soon.